Bless FM radio plays with you.
From the mystical breeze in the morning till the dawning of a new day.
Greetings and welcome to the Sista Lel show on blessradio.org. For those of you who can't reach us on the FM, you can also reach us on www.blessradio.org. So to start off tonight, I hope that you've had a pleasant week and that the Most High has brought you so far and you've been blessed. For those of you who had trials, I hope that you've had the divine support that you've needed to get through or start to see headway in whatever situation it is. A little later we'll be joined in the studio because we'll be doing 2 different interviews today, and we'll keep that information a little bit later for those who stay locked on. The first track I'm going to play for you is King Tubby and Talent Crew. It's called Emperor's Dub.
Bless Radio. Bless. Go in tune to Bless Radio. Bless Radio.
It a go dread.
All of you shall weakness today, as Babylon shall fall.
This track is called Ja Warrior and it's Babylon Shall Fall. Special request going out to Bingy Man. I hope you're enjoying that barbecue.
escape this judgment. And not even the dog that peace against the wall of Babylon shall escape this judgment. Don't deal with violence. And I is peaceful Rastaman. I don't steal, cheat. That's it.
Bingy, make sure you save me some of them veggie rolls.
Rastafari, guide and protect us. Oh, a Jah make we, oh gosh, that's why we have to praise him, praise him, praise him. A Jah make we, oh Lord, that's why we have to thank him, thank him, thank him. Jah make we, oh gosh, now that's why we have to move him, move him, move him. Jah make we, oh gosh, that's why we have to thank him, thank him, thank him.
This one is you better not box off all that food.
He made the fishes for us. No need to fight nor fuss. The sky is the limit for the people. So down to abuse it, no. Just stay in line and don't look behind. No. I'll make we. Oh gosh, that's why we have to thank him. Oh gosh, I'll make we. Oh gosh, now that's why we have to thank him. I'll make we. Oh gosh, now yes we have to love him. I'll make we. Oh gosh, that's why we have to praise him. Because the birds is in the air and the fish is in the sea. He made the trees for you and me. That's why we have to thank him. Oh gosh, he made the birds for us. Oh gosh, he made the fishes in the sea. He made the trees for us. Oh gosh, that's why we have to thank him. Jah make we. Oh gosh, that's why we have to praise him. Jah make we. Oh gosh, now that's why we have to thank him. Jah make we. Oh gosh, that's why we have to love him. Jah make we. Oh gosh, now that's why we have to thank him. Heavenly Father. Oh gosh, now, my heavenly Father. You are a heavenly Father. Oh gosh, now you are a heavenly Father. Oh gosh, that's why you make me. Oh gosh, that's why we have to thank you. Jah make we. Oh gosh, now that's why we have to praise him. Jah make we. Oh gosh, now that's why we have to love him. Love him now. Jah make we. Oh gosh, now that's why we have to praise him. Listen, he made the trees for us. He made the birds in the air. He made the fishes for us. No need to fight nor fuss.
This one's Touch Each Your Love. It's So Jack Come, and it's going out special request to Beacon. Hope you're having a great evening.
Oh, Jah, come now. Oh, Jah, come now. I beg you, please come now. I beg you, please come now. When will I believe in you? When will I see Zion?
You're in tune to Bless Radio.
Take a walk in I home again. Oh, Jah, come now. Oh, Jah, come now. I beg you, please come now. I beg you, please come now. Rome is for the Romans. Zion is for the Zion livers. Oh, Jah, come now. I beg you, please come now. I beg you, please come now.
Shout out there to Tasha. Hope you're enjoying it. This one is a favorite. It's Johnny Clark. Every knee shall bow. This is going out to Nariva and to Changa. Hope you have a fantastic evening there.
Every knee shall bow and every tongue confess on that day when Jah shall come. No more crying, no more heartaches, no more sorrows, no more pain. So what will you do? What will you do when he shall come? Mr. Wicked Man, every knee shall bow.
A little later, we'll be joined in the studio with Ras Joseph, and we'll be interviewing and talking about his journey in music and another string in his bow. So stay locked on for the interview with Ras Joseph shortly.
And the best you do, it will stay with you. Just the good you do, it will follow you. And the best you do, it will stay with you. Every knee shall bow, and every tongue confess on that day when Jah shall come. No more crying, no more heartaches, no more sorrows, no more pain. So what will you do, Mr. Wicked Man? The good you do, it will follow you, and the bad you do, it will stay with you. Yes, the good you do, it will follow you, and the bad you do, it will stay with you. Every knee shall bow and every tongue confess on that day when Jah shall come. No more heartaches, no more sorrows, no more pain. So what will you do, Mr. Wicked Man? Every knee shall bow.
You're in tune to Bless Radio.
me says I move on all day. Ba-doo-ba, ba-doo-ba, hey. There will be no escape from all the wicked men. So don't see no wicked people. So don't see I know wicked people. And every tongue must tell and make them knee kind of bow right now, yeah. Sinners, right now, yeah. Hey, and every knee gonna bow, supposed to bow, yeah. Right now, you know. This a Iowa, see me see, and this a Iowa. Bow, see no right, oh yeah, yeah, you know. Get some music, and you could never refuse it. Living eagle man, and back up is the wicked man. And tell me, see no, I'm so down. See no, every knee gonna bow there, and say every tongue gonna tell you say no, judge and comfort. This a earth, now this a earth, what gonna be dread? Just say no, see they gonna ready, found say no, see they gonna dread it. Hey, yes, on me see it's gonna be terrible. I don't see the terrible and dreadful. Stand on that, say don't do that.
Greetings. Is this brother Ras Joseph? Hold on 1 second, I can hardly hear you. Hold on. Speak now. Oh. Say hello again. 1 second. Sorry there. One moment. Ras Joseph. We have Ras Joseph who's phoning in. We're just getting him linked up so you can hear him better. Can
Hello?
we hear you? We can hear you now.
Great stuff. Wonderful things. Right.
Give thanks. Give thanks.
Yes, Aya.
Hi, greetings. How was your day, Ras Joseph?
My day was absolutely wonderful, you know.
Oh, that's
It's
fantastic. That's
been a lovely,
fantastic.
lovely sunny day. You know, I'm just full of enthusiasm and everything. So, yeah, man, it's great. It's great. How was your day?
Yeah, really good, really good. A blessed day, a blessed day. A day of family and being together with them today. So it was brilliant. A brilliant day. One of those days you have to give thanks for. So that's fantastic. Joseph, I've been looking at some of your music, and it seems as though you've got several hats on. So we're gonna be speaking with you today. But can you tell listeners your name? I'm not sure if they heard what I was saying. So, what's can you say your name again for us, please?
My name is Joseph, and that's my spiritual name.
Yes.
Which I adopted from the 12th tribe of Israel many years ago when I became a member.
Okay.
You know, I have other names as well, but Joseph seems to be the one that's really stuck to me, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And I noticed you've got 3 albums out.
Yes.
Do you want to talk us through what those albums are?
Yeah. Well, many years ago, I was staying on the island, and I was there for a good 10 or 11 years. And while I was on the island, you know, I used to go to work and everything, and in the evening I used to go home and practice the piano and everything. And you know, I practiced until I actually started writing songs, writing music.
Oh wow! Okay.
And I got a couple of songs together. And one day I went to Kingston to actually get some material because my parents had a business in a place called Mandeville, Jamaica.
Okay.
And while I was in the market downtown in Kingston, Jamaica,
yeah,
I saw one of Bob Marley's singers, one of the I3s.
I3s, okay.
And her name is Judy Moet.
Yes.
You know, and she, you know, very younger at the time, very good-looking person, and I approached her. You know, not because she was just good-looking, but because I knew she was a, you know, so I knew she was actual, you know, a part of the band, the Wailers. And we started having a chat and that, you know, and I told her my interest in music and everything, and she said, if you're so enthusiastic about music, why don't you come to Tofgon, where Bob Marley is?
Yeah.
And, you know, let us have a chat there, you know, so...
Oh, nice.
I remember it was about a couple of weeks later, I jumped on a minibus from Mandeville.
Yeah.
And ended up at Hope Road, 56 Hope Road in Jamaica, where Bob Marley's house is. And I got through the gates and went in. There's a load of artists there that day. And I remember actually sitting on the stairs on the veranda, Bob Marley's place, and sitting there for a while.
Yeah.
And I felt a presence. And when I looked around, it was the man himself, Bob Marley.
Oh, wow.
You know, so, yeah, so we had a little chat, and, you know, we never agreed on everything. But, you know, we spoke and everything, and we spoke about health food, holistic food, and stuff like that. And
so was it almost like a vision that you...
Well, you know, funny you should say that, because a couple of weeks before that, I did actually have a vision.
Yes.
Of actually being amongst these people. You know, actually traveling to Kingston, and I remember just seeing a cloud of smoke, and I was in that place, a holy place, you know. And I guess that was a vision that materialized, you know what I'm saying, by actually meeting Bob. And funny enough, after about a few weeks after, I heard Bob wasn't well. And obviously he ended up in hospital, and
Yeah.
later on he passed. You know, he went on to the higher regions of
Yeah.
immortality. You know, so
Wow, that must have been an amazing experience to actually meet the man himself, who's, such a legend, to actually be able to interact with people, especially in your arena, and to
yes,
meet people who are at the pinnacle of this
yeah,
field. It must have been quite an experience.
yeah. It was a beautiful experience, and humbling experience. And I remember about a year after that, they had they rallied a load of musicians together for auditions and that.
Yeah.
This was at Tough Gong, and I went along for the audition, and they told me that I was good enough to come and record in that.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Apparently,
Mhm.
I never heard from them for some while, so I was actually working. I had access to money,
Yeah.
and I got myself a few thousand Jamaican dollars at the time, which was quite a bit at that time.
Yes.
And I met a member of the band called Family Man. Now he's the bass player of the Wailers,
Yeah.
and we made an arrangement, and we had a date, and we actually went to the back of Tough Gong, and we did some rehearsal. It was just me and him. I was on the keyboards, he was on his bass guitar, and we had a drum machine.
Yes.
And we laid down about 6 different of my original tracks, and I ended up actually producing 2 songs, one called Love Revolution,
Yeah. Is
and
that's
another one called
hmm So the Love Revolution
uh-huh.
was featuring the Marleys. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the Love Revolution. I wrote the song, I produced it, and
Oh,
I got
fantastic!
backed by the Wailers band itself.
Wow.
And I did 2 songs with the Wailers, one
Mhm.
called Love Revolution,
Mhm.
another one called Always Loving You, which is
Yes.
a lover's rock.
Lovers Rock Tune.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And how do you
And
feel that that experience influenced your the way that you produce music? Did it have an impact or an
well, of
influence?
course, yeah, definitely, because the Wailers have a standard, which is a very high standard of music, and it's obviously set me up to actually keep that standard going. You understand?
That's good. That's
I
good.
mean, eventually I came back to London and released a couple of songs and that.
Mhm.
I had a small amount of success, which I'm thankful for, and ever since then I've always been inspired to write music, and I couldn't actually afford to get the Wailers again to come all the way over here and back me up. So I
Yeah.
went to school over here. It's like evening classes to do music technology,
Wow. Yeah. Very good.
and I got myself a keyboard, I got myself a Mac,
Mhm.
and I actually started producing songs in my home.
Okay.
And the only difference with that, I mean, I prefer live music, with proper like
Real
instruments and
instruments.
stuff. But
Yeah.
you're in a system where technology is here, and you just have to go with the flow.
Mhm.
So
And how do you feel as a musician with this rising technology? How do you like? How do you feel about the internet in the music business? Do you find that it's a contributor, or do you find it can stunt your development in some ways? How do you find it is? Because, it's not like before where a musician would approach certain people. Now it's just
yeah,
up there to download or to record at one's
yeah.
wishes. So, how do you counteract that as a musician, or how do you get around those arenas in the internet?
Well, I mean, with that type of thing going on, with so many people in the in the business itself, you find out it's not easy to become probably a household name.
Mhm.
The way the system is actually arranged as well, there's a lot of politics in it as well.
Yes.
And I mean, obviously we have DJs, and some of them might give you an airplay, and you got some guys who ain't gonna even look at you. You know, it's not an easy game, but I mean, I think whatever you're doing, you have to have that faith
Yes.
in what you're doing, and you know, if you're doing, I mean, I'm a spiritual person,
Yes.
and I write spiritual music, you
Yeah,
know, for the upliftment of mankind. So
Definitely.
it's a bit different, you understand, than the usual, you know,
Absolutely.
dance hall thing or skin up or whatever they do, you know. You know what I'm saying? So you know, sometimes you're not as popular
Yes.
as, you know, when you do a bit of slackness, you can kind of get further. But
Yeah.
that's just the world at large. It's always been like that, you know.
Yeah. But I
And
must
nothing
say,
is easy.
that's true. But I must say, I'm glad you touched on the point of spirituality, because you have quite. I've looked at your music, and it's more centered on balance, love, praise. For example, one of your albums is called Meditation Dub, and that is really about meditating, but through the use of dub music. There's a lot of praise, inspiration, and I'd say there's a lot of positive messages, because, for example, on one of your tracks you would write, I'll just do a quote from one of your tracks, and it says, "To all the people who love the world of the living Yahweh, the eternal creator who gave us life, and our King Hail Selassie, the Lion of Judah, Christ in his kingly character according to the scriptures." And then you've got a Bible verse, which is Genesis chapter 49, verses 8 to 12. "I give you the earth, a song," and it's a song from the album. What
Yeah, I
We
mean,
Were. Yeah.
you know, the scriptures is what we were taught, you know, and even our king, Haile Selassie,
Yes.
recommends that, you know, we read the Bible with an open mind. Now, obviously, you know, because of colonialism
Yes.
and, you know, different, you know, races oppressing us as a black nation of people, we've probably lost faith in many things, including the Bible, and I can see the reason why.
Yes.
However, when you look at the Bible carefully and read it with an open mind, you'll find out that it is an African-orientated book.
Yes, it is.
You understand? Because the first chapter is showing you about Genesis, Ethiopia. I mean, the Bible has never described Christ as a European.
Yeah.
You know, it says his hair is of pure wool, his eyes are as red as flame, and his feet are like unto burnt brass, as if burnt in a furnace. You know, so it's obviously showing that Christ is a black person. But, you know, during slavery and things like that, they had to use that image to keep us down. You understand? But it's for us to, as I said, rise above those things, you know, because this is all prophecy that we're actually going through.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely. Well, yes, so many of us will be able to relate to what you're talking about, because, as you say, from within diaspora, many of us have had that kind of background as a foundational baseline for most of us. Even though we may go into other areas of spirituality, many of us still have had the same kind of base. So I understand totally what you're saying about that, and I think it's quite challenging to send a different message outside of twerking it, or, you know, all this grime and drill music that's out there. So how do you find it, you know, because I know it's a different genre, but it's still attracting that youth crowd. How do you find their response?
Well, I think, you know, a lot of the youths, what I found that with is that they are willing and able, and some of them are still hungry after righteousness. I think, you know, when approached, you know, and when they hear the actual melody and the words of your song, they do appreciate, love that, you know. Absolutely. I mean, you're always going to have different genres of music, but, you know, even then, if the lyrics are good, you know, this is what it is, because, you know, as I said, man does not live by bread alone, but by the word of God that proceedeth from his mouth. So if we have good lyrics and good content in our music, I think that's the main. Well, I personally couldn't go to a studio and, you know, put my time into writing something that's derogative towards women or you know, or anything like that. You know? But then everybody's different, and this is what I've learned to appreciate love as well, because you know, some people are angel and some people are devil. You know, and you know, you're gonna have to have a balance in the world. So if you find yourself on the right side, where you love righteousness and you're doing what is good, then give more thanks.
Yes, and it's only it's the 23rd, so what is that, 2 days? 21 today, 22, 23. Yeah, 2 days, 3 days, sorry, until His Majesty's birthday on the 23rd of July, so this is quite fitting.
Yes.
As we know, it's not far away now that we celebrate His Majesty's Earth Day.
Well, I mean, I personally, I mean, I think it's an everyday thing. I mean, you know, birthdays are one thing, you know. I think like it's so spiritual, like it doesn't even involve a day anymore. It's just like, or I mean, a certain time in the month anymore. It's like
it's continuous.
Yeah, it's continuous. You understand?
Yeah.
And
I think
you know, I think you know, Haile Selassie, you know, came on the earth here to really show us what we represent.
Yes.
You know, I mean, he had his wife, and you know, I mean, put it this way, I mean, they say God made man in His own image.
Yes.
And you know, we are likened to Him because He's the image of our ancestor. If you see what I'm trying to say. So when you look in the mirror, you know, you're really looking at the image and likeness of the Creator, and that goes for everyone.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think this is the beauty of it, because Rastafari is not a religion.
Yes.
You know, it's a way of life. And it's, you know, a one showing you that your body represents the temple of the living God.
Yeah.
You know, we represent that. You know what I mean? So, and, you know, and made us in His image. That means all the good qualities that the Creator has is within us also, if we really, you know, look for it. Everything's inside of us, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's good. Couldn't say it better. So give thanks for that.
Yes.
You also did a track that was a Beatles hit. Do you want to tell us a little more about that track and the style of dub that you did?
Yeah. You know, I was, you know, I listen to all kinds of music, to be honest, from classical to rock to everything, and you know, I was into this song, the Beatles song called "Can't Buy Me Love."
Yeah.
And now I'm not really a big fan of the Beatles anyway, but the lyrics on it were very simple and very, you know, very to the point, because he's singing about, you know, he's showing me that that money itself cannot buy you true love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? And it's just a nice little song. I mean, we know that money is a good thing to have.
Yeah.
And the lack of money can also cause a lot of problems as well. You know, I mean, some people say, you know, money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
But I'm not really onto that one.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think money is a reflection of yourself and how you feel about yourself. It's an energy. You understand? But when it comes to things like virtues and love and integrity,
yes,
it doesn't take money. Money cannot buy things like that.
Yes, that's true.
You understand? Because those things are eternal spirituality. So, you know, everything has its place, and we all need a balance in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And money is one of them.
Yeah, it's true.
So, you know, money can't.
Well, it can't. I mean, some people are so focused on consumerism and materialism that they forget the real essence of life, which is your spiritual being that's actually the driving force. And that, yes, you're right, people do overlook this in order to satisfy flighty moments. You know, it's like eating a piece of cake. That satisfaction is over in 2 seconds. So, I do agree with you on that one. And I'm glad you touched on it again. You were talking about you like to listen to different types of music. So in your style, I can hear that there are influences from different genres of music. So sometimes it sounds a bit jazzy, sometimes it sounds a little bit classical, a bit Latiny. Did you choose to make it a bit more alternative, or is that just what you're drawn to?
Well, I mean, most of the songs I do is straight out of inspiration, and as I was brought up, and I was brought up here in London,
Yeah,
and from a very early age, I've been around. I mean, my parents sent me to classical music lessons, so I've always played classical music on the whole. But, as we start growing up, we start listening to jazz and rock steady, reggae, you know, samba, Latin American, and I mean over the years of growing, obviously influence has taken over part of my subconscious. It's in me, so
yes.
it just transposes out there into the music, which makes it kind of different, and everybody's kind of different, so it's good, you know.
Oh, well, that's
It's good.
good. It's nice because it means you've got an amalgamation of different genres
Exactly,
represented in your musical
exactly,
style,
exactly.
which is very, very interesting. And
Thank you.
since outside of say your music,
Hmm.
what do you do that contributes to your musicality? So, in essence, what I mean is, do you have a hobby that you turn that you turn to in order to say, I guess, rejuvenate your creativity? Because,
Uh,
mm-hmm,
I think the general things in life,
yeah,
you know, um, just meeting people, reading,
yeah,
the history, our history, our future, everything inspires me to, I mean, it's not they can't explain it, but it's just a wonderful thing that happens, and you just get a vibe and then,
yeah,
melody, and then to it. I think there's nothing greater than that, really, than being inspired. And
mm-hmm,
obviously, we got to go back and give again to the creator,
yeah,
because he's the one who gives us life and imagination and all these wonderful things. So, my hobby basically is just being grateful, man, and enjoying
yeah,
people, because what would we do without other people? They inspire us as well. Children inspire us, grown-ups inspire us, you know, um, people's testimonies they give of their life
yeah.
can be so touching and heart searching and everything. So, just the whole of this universe, man, is just inspirational. I just love
Okay,
it, man. I love the life that jazz giving out.
yeah, that's wonderful.
Yes,
So just
yes.
through like everyday living, you find inspiration all around you. I guess I understand this. Being a creative myself,
Uh-huh.
um, yeah, you can be inspired. They're just different, as you say, different types of creatives. So some
Exactly,
people,
exactly, exactly. I
yes,
mean, sometimes you go out there and you might just talk to an old man or an old woman older than you, and they inspire you by just being nice and in their tender ways, whatever. You know, it's just how we perceive everything, and
yes,
how we look at everything, So being positive and trying to get our thoughts right in the right place, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Because most of us as humans, we're under attack at
yeah,
times,
yeah.
and sometimes we can lose our faith, as I said, through certain tribulations
And I
in life.
guess,
But even our tests and trials,
hmm,
you can still write a beautiful song out of that as well, and it's help others as well. So it's all good.
yeah. So I
It's
guess
all
you,
good.
because your work is often about um, having that peace within yourself and having that
Mhm.
balance, it comes
Mhm.
through in your music, this level of spirituality actually comes through in the kind of music you play or the kind of tracks that you do, and some of them are definitely relaxing. It's definitely relaxing music. So
Yeah, for real. I mean, I've always chosen to have my music on my own label,
yeah,
and the name of my label is New Jerusalem, which is obviously peaceful.
yes,
So because even when I did the work with Bob Marley's band, that Tough Gong,
yes.
I still insisted that it went on my label.
Oh, did you?
And I,
Okay.
yeah, because they were going to put it on the Tough Gong label.
Yeah.
But at the time, being very ambitious and trying to be independent, I stuck to what I thought was best. Maybe it would have been more successful if I put it out on the
On their label.
Tough Gong label.
Yeah.
But it's just the way it happened, and I still feel good about what I've done. I don't have any regrets.
Okay.
And with music as well. Music's such a powerful, eternal thing that you might write a music 5 years ago, and it might bust 10 years down the line.
That's true. It's a little bit
Yeah, because when somebody hears a song,
yeah,
regardless of how old a song is, it's still new to them.
True. It's
You
true.
understand? And if you're writing spiritual music, I mean, it's like Bob Marley's songs, they live forever, don't they?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So music is timeless. And, just
Especially
like the word
music
of God.
with a positive message or inspirational message.
Exactly.
With an, a peaceful vibration in it. You do find that it does stand the test of time, as you were saying. I guess that goes across all the genres again within creativity. So anything that people produce from a creative perspective, if it's done from a place of spiritual balance and harmony, yes, you do. I mean, there are artists, there are musicians, there are dancers, and it's that trueness and that pureness in the output why it stands the test of time, as you were saying.
Of course.
So, do you play, which musical instruments do you play?
Well, I play the keyboards, the piano,
Okay.
I can build a song. I'm not, the greatest of pianists, but, I know how to get a song together.
At least you can play.
Yes,
Some people.
yes,
Yeah.
And, as I went to music lessons, I was privileged, a privileged child. I went to a very good music teacher from Jamaica as well. She was in England here. Her name was Mrs. Dobson. I remember her. A Jamaican lady, and I went to her at the age of 7 years old.
Oh wow!
And she taught me and my sister and my other two brothers, and she was a really wonderful person, Mrs. Dobson. She had the old school kind of teaching,
Yeah.
So yeah, man, a really high standard of those Jamaican people who.
Yeah, their standards are very high.
Yeah,
Even in their school,
high.
their method of teaching. Because many of the children that come across from home, who are, say, like 8, 9, 10, these ages, and they've been, even if you get a 3-year-old that comes across, they're very advanced intellectually. They're very stimulated. Their mind, they're awake. Very much so, these children. So I can understand the benefit of having such a professional teacher who really knows their skill. That's fantastic.
So,
what a blessing.
Yes, it is. And even though when I got to a certain age, like probably around 13, 14, I mean, you don't want to play the piano anymore because you think you want to play football, you want to be one of the lads.
Yeah.
And but as I grew, and I think I went to America around, what was it, a long time, about 1974, something like that. And that's when the music really started to kick in. Because living in Chicago, I lived in Chicago for a while.
Oh,
and
wow.
the music in those days, it was like a lot of Motown music, a lot of call it? It was there was so many artists to be
Like
honest, but
soul, yeah.
you know, you learn so much. You know how to sing and all that, and then
Fantastic
I went down.
experience.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
One thing I noticed is that you don't just produce reggae or dub. You also produce, it seems like R&B, because some of your dub has a jazzy feel. But this, you've got a track, I think it's called This Life, and it's
That's
more like
life.
an R&B tune rather than a reggae, like a reggae dub tune. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that and why you produced, like, what was the influence to that song, why it was so different from the reggae?
Well, that particular song, That's Life.
Yeah.
You know, a few years back, I lost my firstborn son.
Oh,
He was,
sorry to hear.
he was killed tragically, and you know, it's
Sorry to hear.
at the time,
Mhm.
obviously, I was going through a lot of, I don't know, stress and everything,
Yes.
and while going through this stress and that, I was inspired to write this song called That's Life.
Okay.
And I remember actually gathering some of his friends together,
Yes.
my son's friends who were musicians as well.
Yes.
So, I had a couple of them on the tune, one playing instruments as well, and one rapping.
Oh, how
That
wonderful.
was his best friend. He was
Aw.
rapping on that particular song called That's Life.
Wow.
And we put it together, and it really, really came out really, really lovely. The song, and I was quite, and that particular song kept me going
Yes.
for months because that was the way of me kind of getting relief from what happened to my son.
Yeah. And how
You know what I mean?
wonderful that all of his friends
Hmm?
and how wonderful that his friends also took that journey with you in part.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really, really a wonderful. It's the Almighty just brought us together, man. That's the way I look at it,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
we did this song for a tribute for him, and it's still a very powerful song now.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people saying, "Wow, that should have been a massive hit," but it's never too late for a shower of rain.
This
You
is
got to be
true.
optimistic. You have to be optimistic in this
I
world.
like that thinking. That's true. Very true. It's
Exactly.
never too
And
late.
sometimes
to
when things happen, it's just the right time when it does.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes we're so anxious for things to take place right away. We want this now, we want to do this now, and regardless of how we strive after something, nothing's going to happen
before it's
the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Because as you're saying, you were just saying before, the Most High is in the driving seat.
Exactly.
So when you're tuned in with the Most High and your
Exactly.
energy is in line with where it needs to be, these things will come to place. He could see the time that you were going through. So clearly he sent people to be around you and also it's like the comfort, to comfort. I think that's an amazing, just the way it worked from what you're saying is an amazing testimony of what it is when you get yourself connected to the Most High.
And I mean, in the meantime as well, I think, when we want something to manifest.
Yes.
And it takes it might take a year, it might take 2 years, it might take longer, you don't know.
Yeah.
But it's the journey as well.
Yes.
Because we're on a journey, and I think you have to enjoy the journey.
True.
You know what I mean? And just take your time and have faith.
Yeah, no matter how easy or how hard it is.
Exactly.
I think just keep that focus on where your destination is supposed to be, and you will find that things, as you were saying, come to you that you need to, and you think, when you look back, you do think, oh my goodness, look at how things came together, because you can't see the beyond, but the Most High can.
Exactly.
So
perfectly true.
Yeah,
perfectly
give
true.
thanks for that one. That was fantastic.
Yes, my darling.
So what has been your biggest challenge as a musician?
My biggest challenge as a musician.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't really. I think the challenge basically can be trying to get your work out there to really be heard to a lot of people. But
Mhm.
because you have all these different kind of technology nowadays.
Yeah.
You got your Facebook, you've got your SoundCloud, you got the iTunes.
Mhm.
What I mean. You have to fit in with the times, have faith in what you're doing. Most of all, enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because if you're in the music just for money and for some little ego thing, you're not gonna get certain satisfaction out of it.
And I think you'll only get to a certain place, and the fruitfulness of what you're trying to do will not manifest
Exactly.
to its height, because your
Exactly.
reasons for doing it, as you've just said, are incorrect. If you go with a
Exactly.
clean heart and a clean mind, things always go in the right way. That
Accordingly,
is,
yes.
yes, absolutely. But your mind and your heart has to be clean.
Exactly. And I mean, from my point, I found that unfortunately some of the artists, I'm not calling any names or anything, but I find that sometimes it can be very competitive. There's a competition thing going on.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? And this creates what they call bad-mindedness.
yeah.
And then you find out.
I think we've just lost Ras Joseph there in the middle of what he was saying, and hopefully he can call back in now. Ras Joseph, if you could please kindly call back into the studio, because we are waiting for you. In the meantime, what we will play while we're waiting for Ras Joseph to get back to us is one of his tracks that he was just talking about, called Love Revolution. Oh, he's calling back in right now. Greetings.
Greetings. I think I lost you there for a moment.
Yeah, for a few seconds there you did.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I was just about to play your track there,
Okay,
and
okay.
it's the
Which one are you playing?
It's Love Revolution featuring the
All right.
Marleys.
All
So
right.
I'll just play that track now, and then we'll
Okay.
continue after the track.
All right, my darling.
All right
Yes.
then, give
Okay.
thanks.
Okay.
So this is Ras Joseph's track. It's called Love Revolution, and it's featuring the Marleys.
Don't worry. Your audience will understand. Technological problems.
Yes, a slight technological issue here. Just bear
Okay.
with us one moment there, please. Hi. Is Ras Joseph,
Uh-huh.
you still there?
I'm here. Right
Ah.
here.
We'll just continue because I'm just waiting for the technician to come into
Okay.
the
No problem.
studio. And what it is. One moment there, please.
I'm here.
universe. We need a love revolution, yeah. That's what we must put first. We need a love revolution, yeah. Don't sit back there and wait. We need a love revolution, yeah. No time to hesitate. Learn to love yourselves now, and you will love another. Come, let's get together like sisters and brothers. Love revolution, yeah. Throughout the universe, we need a love revolution, yeah. That's what we must put first. We need a love revolution, yeah. Don't sit back there and wait. We need a love revolution, yeah. No time to hesitate. Learn to love yourselves now, and you will love another. Come, let's get together like sisters and brothers. Spy, spy, ba-da, spy, ba-da. Spy, ba-da, ba-da, spy, ba-da. Spy, ba-da, spy, ba-da. Spy, ba-da, ba-da, spy, ba-da. Learn to love yourselves now, and you will love another. Come, let's get together like sisters and brothers. Love revolution, yeah. Throughout the universe, we need a love revolution, yeah. That's what we must put first. We need a love revolution, yeah. Don't sit back there and wait. We need a love revolution, yeah. No time to hesitate. Last
Yes, that was a wonderful track by Ras Joseph called Love Revolution featuring the Marleys. And this is the next track of Ras Joseph. It's from his album called Meditation Dub. And this particular track is called Meditation Dub, and very healing track. This next dub track by Joseph is called Victory Over the Beast. Greetings.
Yes, Sista Lel.
Greetings, Ras Joseph. Greetings.
Yes.
Beautiful tracks that you've got there. This meditation dub is fantastic and it's very spiritual. And the track that you did called Love Revolution featuring the Marleys, which I just played, I don't know if you...
Featuring the Wailers.
Yes. Is a wonderful track with them, and the harmony and all the balance in it is beautiful. And I can see why you were saying a little earlier that it was a wonderful experience and a wonderful career experience working with this level of professional output.
Yes, definitely.
So that's fantastic.
Yeah. And that's the first song I ever recorded, that one, Love Revolution.
Oh wow, the very first track. Amazing.
The very first song I ever recorded, yeah.
Wow, what a wonderful experience. Wonderful. And
probably like That's Life as well. That's a nice track as well.
That's it, yeah. The wonderful track. So we were talking then before about the different areas of your music and the fact that you have different genres as influences or inspiration, because it's a part of your everyday journey, listening to different styles and the experience that you had with the Marleys and the starting off of your career and the 3 albums. What's next for you? What's your next plans for the future musically?
Well, I would like personally to do a remix of a lot of the music I've done through the computer with some live musicians, you know.
Yeah.
And I'd like to actually do some of the classical dub ones orchestrated, you know, with a proper orchestra.
Yes.
And you know, a band. That's a dream.
Wonderful.
And I just hope it actually, pray that it manifests, because it'd be one of the, you know, something that really wonderful. I'd love to happen, you know.
Yes, absolutely.
And you know, it's very it's possible. All things are possible. All things are. So
definitely,
you know,
I think just having that belief,
I'm just
forward
optimistic.
thinking. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Everything is possible.
Exactly.
With your focus clear.
Yes.
And on what you are wanting to do. So do you want to tell us how we can actually find your music? So somebody wants to contact you, or if somebody wants to purchase some of your work, or somebody who is just interested in listening to your work, just to find out more about who Ras Joseph is.
Yeah, right. People who want to listen to the music, I got a lot of music on SoundCloud. Now, to get to the SoundCloud, you'd have to put on your search Ras, that's RAS space Joseph. And once you put Ras Joseph down, then you'll be able to, it'll take you into music that you can listen for free. So that's a very good one. And I've got music on YouTube. And the way to get to YouTube, you'll have to put in Joseph Ras. That's JOSEPHRASS, but all as one word. Do not separate anything. So that's YouTube Joseph Ras, JOSEPHRASS. And for people who want to purchase some of my music, they'll have to go to a place called CD Baby.
Yes.
And it's www.cdbaby.com /artist /Joseph 3. I'll repeat that again because that's not one. It's not easy to retain that. So it's www.cdbaby.com artist /Joseph. Is that right though? I think the first one was right. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
www.cdbaby.com artist /Joseph 3.
Yeah.
And you can actually purchase, and in fact any one of those links I've given you, you can listen, and if you want to you can download it from there, and you can go on. Some of them are for free and some of them you can actually purchase.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Joseph, thank you. Give thanks for that information.
You're welcome.
Joseph, you also have another thing that's happening. So you're not just a musician, you also are an entrepreneur outside of your music. There's a confectionery brand. I believe it's called Dark Majestic. Would you like to tell us more about this brand, what it is, and why you started this particular confectionery?
Yeah. Well, I'm not a fanatic, but I am a vegan, for one thing. And funny enough, I was looking at YouTube once, and I was looking at how they make chocolate.
Yes.
And then I looked and I saw, well, it's not really that hard making chocolate. It's quite easy. But what they're actually putting in, the ingredients they're actually putting into the chocolate, is quite detrimental to one's health. You know what I mean? Because, they're not really using the proper cocoa. They're putting in a load of white sugar, which is, white sugar can be very acidic and very, it attracts, cancer when you have too much sweet things in your body. And people with diabetes and that, which we as a nation right now are suffering from. All these things are in there, and then they have preservatives on top of that. So even though a chocolate's a nice thing, if you don't know what you're actually doing, even though it tastes nice, it can actually trigger off, certain reactions in your body which can be detrimental to your health.
Yeah.
So what I did my research, and I decided to start making chocolate just for my family, basically. And I started to use raw coconut, and instead of using all that fatty stuff, I used 100% coconut oil.
Ooh, okay. So it's got a nice creamy texture to it then.
Yes, and we use the best cinnamon and the best vanilla.
Yeah.
Use dark agave as a sweetener, which is from a plant,
Yes.
and we use also coconut palm sugar, which has a lot of zinc, so it's quite good for your health. So the chocolate bar that I make is actually a superfood because we use raw cocoa, and you know raw cocoa has iron, magnesium.
Yes.
I think it's the right word, phosphorus or something like that.
Yes.
Yes, and zinc and all them wonderful things in it are really good for your health, and also makes you feel, gives you that happy type of feeling.
Yes.
So you know, I really have a passion for doing this, for making this product here. And what happened? My sister came from New York, and she was staying with us for a bit, and she had some of the chocolate, and she said, "Hey, why don't you start putting this chocolate on the market or something, you know?"
Oh, nice.
And I thought to myself, well,
That's why we love our siblings.
you know,
Yes.
and yeah, and I thought to myself, you know, why not give it a try? And I started producing and giving people tasters and that, and I found that they really, really love this product.
Oh, fantastic.
You know what I mean? And it's a bit more expensive than the usual junk you get out there, but I mean, you know, some people are actually prepared to pay for something if they're going to benefit health-wise.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm one of those kind of people, because I'd rather, you know, be looking after my health than just eating anything that I get.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
so yeah, I put it together, and now I have it in quite about probably, let me see how many shops. About 13 different shops I've got it in at the moment already.
Fantastic.
So yeah, and I can give you a list of some of them. You probably,
yes, please.
if you're in that particular area, you can actually go there.
Yes.
Right. First of all,
yeah,
we have it in a shop in Shepherd's Bush called the Ankh.
Yes, the Ankh Wellbeing Centre.
That's the one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's a very beautiful shop as well. It's holistic and spiritual shop.
Yeah.
You can get so many other different products in there, but they've accepted my product and they like it there.
Fantastic.
That's one of them. And then there's another vegan shop in Brixton called Alkaline.
Yes.
And that's on Brixton Hill. I think it's 100B Brixton Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And they sell some very beautiful, you know, vegan products in there.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get it in there. Then there's another one in Brixton on Coal Harbour Lane called Eat of Eden.
Yeah, that's quite a new business, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah. And they sell some very beautiful food, vegan food in there. And you can get it there.
Mm-hmm.
In Walthamstow, we have it at a supermarket called Eat 17.
Yes.
That's in a place called The Village in Walthamstow.
Okay.
And then we have it in another shop in Walthamstow on a road called Wood Street, Walthamstow.
Mm-hmm.
They've got it in there. They've got it in another shop in Chingford. There's a West Indian shop in Chingford on Chingford Mount. They have it in there. And there's a vegan restaurant in Peckham on Rye Lane in the market, which is called Rasta Restaurant, which does a lot of vegan food as well. They got it in there. In Peckham. There's another shop in Brixton as well called Netta Vital.
Yes.
It's a spiritual shop. It's a holistic shop. They sell some very beautiful products in there as well. You can get it in there. That's about 3 minutes away from Brixton Station.
Yeah.
And there is also another shop, actually a supermarket in on Black Horse Lane. A Jamaican supermarket called Sunland. And they actually have it in that shop there on Black Horse Lane.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, we'll be looking for other places to put it in as the year grows, you know.
Goes
So
on, yeah.
slowly but surely,
Fantastic.
it's getting out there, and it's very, very healthy, you know, because
Mm.
sometimes people have a bit of a sweet tooth,
Yes.
you know, and you know, I think we all do at times, because our body actually calls for things sometimes, and
Yeah, exactly.
you know, if you want to have a bit of chocolate and enjoy it without having a guilty kind of feeling,
Yes.
then you know, I recommend dark, majestic,
Yes.
you know, and
And I like the fact that your product has a wide range of different things that you've added. So, for example, some of them it's, you know, you've got different nuts, for example, like
yeah, you know,
almonds,
yeah, we do
walnuts.
like we do with seeds, we do it with hemp seeds,
Yeah.
we do it with pumpkin seeds, we use walnuts, Brazil nuts, almonds, hazelnuts, you know, and you know, it's just a nice variety, and obviously, you know, the ingredients that we use, a lot of it is antioxidant as well, which is
Yeah.
good for healing.
Healing, yes.
In fact, even
absolutely.
raw cocoa is an antioxidant as well. Plus, you've got vanilla, which is the same, which is good for healing,
Yes.
and you know, cinnamon's another wonderful thing. And you know, we have coconut milk. So for those who can't take, you know, some people don't actually like the taste of too much of a dark chocolate.
Yeah.
So what I've done, I've actually incorporated it with coconut milk,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
makes
because
it taste.
I can testament that
Mhm.
I actually had some of your chocolate, and I've had some of
Right.
your very dark, you know, your dark chocolate, and
Mhm.
very often in especially these independent health stores where you can buy proper products,
Mhm. Yes.
you do find there's a bitterness with their
Yes.
cocoa, but because you've infused it with something that's got a creaminess to it, I can see why the
Yes.
texture doesn't give you that kind of sharp, bitter
Yes.
taste. This is
Yes.
actually very Moorish.
Yes, it is. Well, you know, it's got a twist of the yard vibe in it, you know. So, which I
Yeah.
learned from, you know, my Jamaican, you know, ancestors. So,
Yeah,
yeah, man,
absolutely.
it's just like a wicked cup of chocolate tea, but in a chocolate
In a
bar.
bar, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Ras Joseph, give thanks for
Mhm.
this interview today.
You're
And
welcome.
if you just say your main contact details again for those who missed all your contacts before, for where they can
Yeah.
find your music, and
Okay.
also contact you if they want more batches or if they want other things in relation to like your chocolate bar as well. So the main
Yeah, I
two
mean,
areas they can
anyone
contact.
anyone wanting to contact me, you know, I'm free, I'm open. I can give you my phone number. I can give you my email.
Yeah, let's just do
You
the
know,
email so it's easier for everyone
yeah,
to remember.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, my email is Joseph dot Negus, and that's Negus.
Yeah.
All right. So we have Joseph dot Negus at Yahoo dot co dot uk.
Yeah.
Okay. You want me to repeat that?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So it's Joseph dot Negus at Yahoo dot co dot uk, and you can give us a link, give us a text, whatever, give us an email, and I will send you some photos of it, you know, any kind of literature you wish to have on it, and I can direct you to get it. And you know, we do deliveries as well for people living in certain radius miles
Oh,
in
wow.
Walthamstow. So you know, we're quite
And do you
you know,
have
so we're growing.
do you have a cap on how far you go for a delivery?
Well, within you know, I'd say 5 miles. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Within 5 miles from
yeah.
your
Yes,
location.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
That's fantastic. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you tonight, Ras Joseph. We literally have about 3 minutes till we end the show. And in the background, I don't know if you can hear as clearly as I can, that your track Joy Dub is playing.
Okay.
We're going to go out with, on this dub track, we just want to say a great inspiration if you have a dream, to keep focused on your dream and to keep striving as you move forward. As Ras Joseph was saying to us tonight, when you're pursuing a skill or an idea or a concept that you have, just have faith and keep striving forward, because like you said, it's never too late to reign. I'm stealing that one from you now.
Exactly. You're welcome, darling. I saw it from someone else, so it just passed right down the line. One big circle, you know?
The domino effect, here we go.
You know? Yes, my love. Yeah,
well,
man,
give thanks, and have a
Yes.
blessed evening. Thank you for the contribution to Bless Radio and talking to us here tonight on the Sista Lel show every Friday between 8 and 10. And for those of you who've only catching the tail end of the show, from tomorrow you'll be able to catch it on YouTube, on the Bless Radio site, where you can see this interview with Ras Joseph. So give thanks for the liberty, give thanks for life, and may the Most High continue to guide us and continue to guide you in your musical career, and all the best with the chocolate brand that you have. It sounds very nutritional and is a benefit to us rather than having Snickers, Mars and the rest of it.
See that. Yes, darling, bless up, you know,
Yes.
and keep the faith,
We will
keep
do.
the love, yeah, and keep the enthusiasm going. Yeah?
Give thanks, give thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you,
One big
thank
love.
you. One love,
Rastafari.
Rastafari.
Rastafari, blessed love.
Blessed love. So here is that track from Ras Joseph, and it's Joy Dub. I'm just going to turn it up for us here so we can all hear it clearer. Give thanks for that one and caller on 8038. Blessed love. That was a fantastic interview with Ras Joseph there. We are literally at 10 o'clock, so I've finished, but I'm going to play out with one last tune here for you, and it's called Sonia Spence. One last tune for you by Sonia Spence, and the track is called Peace and Unity, because that's what we need as we are trying to move forward in a progressive manner. So Sonia Spence, Peace and Unity.
Why can't we stop the killing? Why can't we stop the fighting? And live in unity. Every day we're fighting, taking our brother's life. It's time for peace. Yeah, it's time for peace. Beautiful world the Father's given us living, and all we do is make war, yeah, war. You know, it's time we start to live like human beings and not like untamed animals. Remember, the boys and girls of today will be the men and women of tomorrow. We have to live, yes, we must live for them to see.
Bless Radio. Bless. You're in tune to Bless Radio.